One and live. Matthew, I'm so happy to talk with you. Like crazy happy. And we have to celebrate. We have two celebrations to do. And I don't know. I have also a little surprise for you. But first, celebration because Austin FC won the first match. Oh my goodness.
1-1. Yes. Verde. Listo.
Verde.
Man. Yeah, we really did. I mean, we played a decent first half against LAFC in the first game, and they outclassed us and win. And we come into this game, and then we play a great second half. And, we really attacked well in space, and that's a big deal. So now our legend begins. We're 1-1. That's a big victory for us. It feels good. I'm liking how we're looking. We don't look like a new team that this is their first year that's only been playing together for 6 weeks.
Right. It's a very fresh new team. But also in US, you have the World Cup coming 2026, something like that.
Yes, big time. We are going to be hosting the World's Game in our backyard. That's huge for us and for MLS and for soccer, because soccer's still we got to call it soccer now because I'm about to talk about American football.
Right.
American football, basketball, and baseball are still 1, 2, 3. Soccer's starting to compete in America with baseball for being in the 3 hole. And the youth of America are really starting to choose the game of soccer over other sports. It's becoming choice number 1. And when that starts happening, we're going to be able to put a better product on the pitch.
Interesting. Yeah, absolutely. And you can also be a fantastic ambassador. I mean, now that you start to be involved in soccer with the team. I mean, unfortunately, 2026, Italy will win the World Cup because, we Italians, we always believe that we are the best. Even I think we won 15 years ago. We don't win for a long time, but we always believe that in soccer we are the best.
You got to believe that. I've got a line that I'm going to keep harping, and I believe this. Soccer ball, football, is the greatest invitation in the world. And with my job, I travel all over. I work in Cape Town. I work in Rome. I work in Reykjavik. I work in New York. I work in Cleveland. What's the one game? What's the one ball that's always there? And if you see somebody kicking it around, all you got to do is walk up. You don't have to introduce your name. You don't have to shake anyone's hand. You just walk up, pass it to you, kick it around. My kids have picked it up that way, and that's how I got really into the game of football much more, because it's the greatest invitation in the world. It's a peacemaker.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic. Second celebration that we have to do, Matthew, is for your Italian book that is finally out. And it's fantastic, by the way. For me, I read millions of books, and is in my top 3. Is with Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life, and with Harari Homo Deus. I don't know if you ever read Professor Harari Homo Deus. It's a fantastic book. And I was really impressed, and I was really surprised, and I want to talk with you about that. But the interesting thing is this one, that yesterday I checked the Amazon ranking in Italy. And I got you, I give you a screenshot because I want to give you facts. And that was the ranking. So you see, green lights, l'arte di correre in discesa, in Italian means the art of running downhill. Chapter 4, the title of chapter 4, yeah. And so I see this and I think, oh my goodness, why Matthew's book is only number 12? And I got very crossed. I thought, why it has to go on the top. So I record the video because I tell you, I'm really in love with this book. And by the way, I have it here. And just to tell you, because everyone say, yeah, I'm in love. But I wrote millions of notes here.
Yes.
And, so, this is how much I love it. So I've shot a video, which is this. And the title of this video is, You Have to Read This Book. So I went straight to the point. You have to read this book, full stop. And then I've been waiting. And this morning I woke up and here we are. Are you ready? I have my chin ready for you. And here's the book, number 1.
Yes.
Come on.
Grazie, Monty. Yes, thank you. I needed the Monty push. Thank you. Good,
You
man.
know why? But you deserve it, Matthew, because you surprised me. I have to be honest, because I was expecting for the classic celebrity memoir, blah blah blah. I'm really good. A couple of gossip stories, and that's it. And instead, I found a book full of ideas, lessons, and I love the quotes. There is a lot of wisdom. It's funny. It's honest. It's personal. So maybe it's so personal that made it very universal and resonate with me. That's why I'm so passionate now about it. But it's really a fantastic book. And the real question is, when is coming out the next one? Because with your 36 years of diaries, it has to be more there.
There is. I mean, this book, I would say, is probably 25% of my diaries and journals.
All right.
I mean, I'm working on, now I keep a journal here on my phone anytime. I write in my notes. And I've got 2 years, about 1,800 notes that I'll find time here coming up to go, well, let's go look back at the last 2 years. I do believe, my hunch is that I've crystallized some of the ideas and theories that I put forth in Green Lights. And hopefully I've evolved them into another chapter. What I don't want to do is recook the souffle. I don't want to do Green Lights 2. But it will definitely be something that is an approach to, I think, more qualified living. It'll be aspirational in that sense, because that's just how my mind works and what interests me in life.
What countries are? What countries is Green Lights out in this moment? Is any particular country that is rocking particularly well?
Still, so we're 25, 26 weeks still in New York Times bestsellers here in America.
Wow.
Doing very well in Australia. Did well in England, Germany, and now Italy. And then there's some other countries coming. I haven't seen the list. I haven't really followed. I get sent each week how it's doing here in America, but it was Australia took to it well. England took to it well. And now because of your help, do it well.
I mean, Italians love you, so it's kind of easy. It's an easy country. But I mean, not so many Italian read books. I mean, the percentage is not so high in Italy. So anyway, it's a niche of the population. But I mean, it's the kind of book that for my community, I would say is perfect. And by the way, there is the beginning, page 9, that for me, I love those movies where there are they start with the images and just the voice out. I don't know how you say in English. The voiceover. The voiceover, you just hear the voice narrating. And I imagine a movie, with this page 9, with your story. And for 2 years, I led the under-12 soccer league in red cards as a goalie. This I didn't understand. How was that possible? But because you were always like punchy or?
No. So, I'm young. I'm 10, 11, 12. When you're young, the kids usually don't like to play goalie because it's a lot of contact. You're catching balls to the face. Well, I loved the contact. And what I would do, strikers coming down, you're young, you're backing up. Well, what I loved is to go time my sprint to just meet them right when they got 1 inch into the box and then just dive at their feet and just take the ball and take them out. Well, I got away with it for a while because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's doing that. The goalie always got, a little bit of amnesty, especially as a kid, you're a goalie playing rough. It's like, well, don't kick the goalie, but the goalie can kick you. It's kind of, you got a little bit of amnesty. Well, I did it so often and became so good at it. The league coaches went to the league and were like, he's taking out our strikers. I mean, he's form tackling them at the ankles and taking the ball. And so I started receiving yellow cards, then red cards for it because I was playing too rough as a goalie. And so I led the league in red cards as a goalie for 2 years. Yeah.
Crazy. But the other interesting thing about your book is that there are so many stories and but there is always a good humor there. So I also love this fact because sometimes you read some great stories, but then they are very arrogant. And I love your humility. And by the way, I particularly appreciate, I think in the last year, you started to do more probably Instagram, YouTube. You opened your YouTube channel. It's going very, very good. It's growing very fast. And I watched a lot of interviews that you've done. And I mean, I think many actors wouldn't do what you do because maybe they want, to have the good light, the good camera, or the, all the setup, and they don't want to go, like that. And so I really appreciate that. I think that when you say Jordan Peterson humility definition is really what makes you different with all of the other actors there, and I feel it in the book. Is very transparent there, I think.
Good. Well, I hope so. I've had a lot of people say, like, oh my gosh, you were so vulnerable. You told these stories. Wasn't that hard? And I was like, no, that was never negotiable. I was always going to tell. I mean, in my family, we look at the hard stuff where we fall on our face, where we screw up, and when we're confused, and stories I've gotten there when I'm losing my own mind, so to speak, in Australia. That's all love stories. It's all love stories, because it's life. What else is it going to be? How am I going to look at it? So it was freedom for me to write it down. It was not. Right. It's not like a tell-all, as you said. I'm not talking out of school on anybody else. I don't even think I'm talking out of school on myself. I'm just, sharing the fun stuff, the successful stuff, the failures, the screw ups, all of it, and that's all part of all of our lives. The rodeo, the bull. We're all trying to get our 8 seconds on the damn bull. You know what I mean? And it ain't easy. So laying it out there, it's been nice to hear people go, oh, I see my stories in your stories, Matthew. And so that sort of translation that people are seeing themselves in me, their stories and my stories, that makes me happy.
I love it. And there are some stories that you at the end decided not to put in because maybe involved other people, and maybe you spoke with Camilla and said, look, maybe it's better not to push. You say, don't put it, Matthew, inside, and you say, okay, let's not put this one. Maybe it's too personal or something like that.
No, the only thing that I edited myself back on were things, and this has been brought up, like in the beginning, I talk about being molested at 18 and being blackmailed into having sex for the first time at 15. People are like, you can't just give me just 2 lines and just say that and not explain it. I was like, oh, yes, I can. And on purpose, I do that because I know, me being Matthew McConaughey, the celebrity I am, the way the media works, that's the headlines that they would have wanted to grab and put in bold print. And it would not been true to what the book is. So I didn't want to put things in there that were going to allow people to be voyeurs on and really predate on. That really not what the book's about or what my life's about. But other than that, my mom read it. She was like, oh, all this is true. She goes, it's a little light in some places. I was like, it's a little light.
It's not a little light at all.
No, it's not a little. I didn't think so either, but
oh, goodness.
And then, for Camilla and I share, I'm not telling any bedtime tales. You know what I mean? Think that's why there's doors on the bed. I'm not talking out of school. I don't talk about other celebrities. I don't talk about intimacies. It's just nobody's business. And that's never what the book was going to be, about. There's enough of Hollywood, I think, in there and stories, if you're interested in Hollywood, that I share, that make it entertaining if that's what you're looking for. But if you're looking for a tell-all, as you said at the beginning, this is not the book for you.
I loved about Hollywood. You have one line that to me is so important when you look for a job today. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, so it's also for entrepreneurs is really good. Hollywood, you don't need it. You want her, but you don't need her.
Right.
And it's the same. I would say fil rouge of yes by saying no. I mean, it's a very connected topic. I love that. I really loved because I think it's the right approach, and but it's counterintuitive today when you're looking for a job. You're sending CVs and so on.
Yeah, I was just talking to my class at University of Texas about this a minute ago on my class Script to Screen, and they were bringing up that, and going into this business. They're college students, filmmakers going into the business. They're like, "What do you mean by don't need it? Just want it?" And I was like, "Look, You can't throw that idea on somebody who doesn't have a great work ethic and is not obsessed with what they want to do anyway. I mean, if you're not fully committed to wanting to, just what I tell the students, if you're not fully committed to wanting to be a storyteller and it's about the process and it's not about the result, then you can tell yourself, if you're not fully committed, then you can't tell yourself, don't need it, just want it. Because if you tell some people that, they go, oh, well, I'll just take off work. Oh, that means I don't have to try. I can half-ass it. But if you got somebody that you don't question your commitment to something, your obsession to want to get something done, it's very smart, I think, to go, okay, I don't need this. I trust that I'm working hard enough. I trust that I'll take this seriously enough. But now I just want it and not need it. Because when I start needing it, we start thinking about results. Oh, I got to get the result.
Yeah.
And miss the magic in the process of the doing on the way. And so it also helps us take things a hell of a lot less personally. When I've been lied to, I've been threatened, all those things. And, I learned, oh, okay. And I still run into those people, that wouldn't return my phone call when my movies weren't doing well, but really want me. Now they're calling me. I don't take it personally. Hey, that's where you were. It's the business. I get it. I want it. I didn't need it. If I'd have needed you and needed you to be the right kind of person or give me the opportunity, I would take it personally. But if now I just go, I want you, it's lighter feet. It's more of an affair, then you're always on the approach. You're dancing. In Hollywood, she's a tryst.
What does it mean, tryst?
Tryst. Tryst, one night stands,
All right.
affairs, hookups, you know what I mean? Whether those be with people or with things in our life that we go, oh, it's a hobby, it's a try it out. So to think of, for instance, when I had children, you have children?
4.
Okay, you got 4 children.
Yeah.
That immediately, when you had your first child, that immediately instinctually became top of your value system of what you needed to take care of. And your entrepreneur stuff, as much as you're committed to it, moved into at least second place.
Yeah.
Right? So you didn't need the entrepreneur thing because non-negotiably, your kids are what need you. You know what I mean? So when Hollywood, my career moved into the 3 spot behind my faith and my family, I got better in Hollywood. I became a better actor. I was more involved, less impressed. I was able to engage, take more chances, not ask permission. Oh, watch this. I'm doing it my way. Watch, because if you don't want me, great. See you later. That Hollywood also starts going, oh, wait. Don't leave. Come here.
You said half-assed, the line from your father, the first time that you decide to go acting. And you have a lot of, it's interesting because I live in UK for 8 years now. I'm Italian, as my British accent reveal, and my wife is British. And sometimes during the reading, I read it in English, but then I double-checked also the Italian version, Matthew, no worry, because I wanted to see if it was properly translated. Great translation. Awesome. And they kept all the font and everything. It's really fantastic work. And sometimes I went to my wife and said, look, what does it mean half-assed? Or what does it mean I'm sweating in my boots? I don't. And she said, I don't know, who's saying that? And I say, Matthew McConaughey. All right, that has to be good.
So, half-assed.
Yeah.
Yeah, where does that term come from? That's what my father told me when I told him I didn't want to go to law school, I wanted to go to film school. And I thought he was going to say, hell no, you're not. That's a wild-ass punk idea. You're not doing that. You can do that on Saturdays, but you're not going to do that for a living. But he didn't. Once he heard from me, that's what I really wanted to do. Once he heard from me in the tone of my voice that I really wasn't asking him permission, but I was asking him, he goes, all right. Don't half-ass it. And by saying don't half-ass it, all of a sudden I was like, he gave me not only approval, I felt responsibility, I felt significance, I felt freedom, I felt privilege, I felt accountability. Half-assing something is when, as you go through it, how'd you do? Did you win? I kind of, you leave the proverbial playing field, whether it's sport or in life or relationship, and you go, I didn't really do all I could. I didn't really prepare the way I should have. I didn't really commit. I didn't really learn enough in preparation to be free and play during the game, to call an audible, to act, react. I didn't know, and I could have worked harder. That's half-assing it, you know, and that's a horrible feeling if we don't get what we want and we know we could have done more to get it. It's not such a horrible feeling if we don't get what we want and we go, I did everything I could that I know I could have done. I can sleep with that. What I have trouble going to sleep with is going to bed going, you half-assed it, dude. You didn't give it all. You don't know. Now you don't know, and you'll never have that moment again. It's the idea of not knowing that half-ass it, where it'll come back and bite you in the proverbial backside.
Let's go into preparation. Another interesting topic is you have a great story about your famous preparation and Spanish monologue, and that is really funny. I mean, people they will have to read the book to know the story. And but my question is the following: if I watch you as an actor, I mean, it's like watching Federer for me. You know, like you are top, at the top of the level, the technical level that I can imagine. So what I don't understand is, do you have any specific area of your acting techniques that you think that you would like to improve, or you think, this is something that I can still improve? Because from outside, as a fan of yours, I think, it's perfect. I mean, what else can you do? I mean, I don't know. But maybe from inside, you have some areas you say, no, this is my repertoire that I would like to improve.
All right, let me say this. I've never done a movie or played a character that lived up to my expectations. I've done work that I'm like, good job, McConaughey, you hit it. That you nailed it. I've done movies where I'm like, wow, yes. But nothing has ever lived up to my heightened expectation. So do I have more to do? Look, sure I do. It's for me, and especially with dramatic roles, it's an investigation of myself. It's going deeper into myself about how many different ways do I feel about a certain situation? What do I need, to where it gets to a point where I'm not playing. Every character we play as an actor, we're the vessel. It's coming through us. It's got to be personal. If we don't get to the personal level, we didn't even get halfway there. And so once it gets to the personal level, I've learned to try to work on, don't feel complacent. Don't feel like, oh, you got this. Oh, you know this 4 ways. Well, if you know this 4 ways, know it 8 ways. The more I can come in with an arsenal, now, the more I can come with an arsenal of being ready and knowing my truth of my man in any so said scene, the better. There's no end in sight for that. You could set me up to be prepared for give me preparation for a character. I usually take around 3 to 6 months. I'm not going to get bored if you give me a year. I've got shit to do. I've got more to keep compounding into my subliminal to where I don't even have to think about it. It's part of my being. And that's when we see great performances. That's when you see your Roger Federers. You don't see all the work he did because he's out there playing. So if you see me working on the screen, then that means I didn't do my work to prepare, because when I'm on the screen, I should be playing. It's playtime. It's live, call an audible, 1 take, that's all we get, let's go. Don't need take 2. Yeah, sometimes I do need take 2 and take 3 and take 4, take 5, but I'm going in with the confidence to go, take 1's all we're gonna need. And that comes with the preparation. So I could go, if you gave me 2 years to prepare for characters, I might get bored along the way in that 2nd year, but I could fill my time preparing for it.
All right. Interesting. You know what always impressed me of your roles is that when I see you the first scene in a movie, you are already that person. There is already, if I look at you, there is a past, there is something that I don't know how you do it, and like you great actors are able to do. It's not that you are, like a broker or whatever, any Dallas Buyer Club, but immediately you are there. You are that person. And it's like I can understand that there is before you have this story, I don't know, but you didn't do anything. You're just there. Maybe it's just a look.
Right.
And I don't know how this magic is possible.
Well, thank you, because if we're doing our job as actors, that's what better damn well happen. And especially if you're someone who's not only an actor, but a celebrity and famous, where you got an idea of them and then you see them playing a new character in a movie and they don't fit your idea of them, it can take a minute to go, whoa, wait a minute. Let me, am I watching Matthew or am I watching Ron Woodruff? Yeah. Now, if I do my job well, you're watching Ron Woodruff. If I do my job well, you're watching that character and then saying, oh, and that's McConaughey who's playing him. Not, oh, it's McConaughey and he's playing that character. So look, it's unsaid things. The more I prepare for a character, the more I know what that person how he walks, how much he sleeps, what he buys if he goes into the store, what he orders off a menu, what kind of woman he likes, how many friends he has, what his demons are, what he gets off to. Now, it's also help with your director and your cameraman. For instance, Dallas Buyers Club. People go, oh my gosh, so it's amazing weight loss. How'd you do it? Why'd you do it? So, well, look, number one, it was my job. Number two, I'd be embarrassed if I didn't do my job. If you open up the first scene of Ron Woodruff and Dallas Buyers Club, and he's in that little shadow in a stall, taking a hit with the girl, drinking some whiskey, that tells you a lot in the place, the way the lighting was, everything. So it takes a filmmaker as well and the DP. But that tells you so much. But if you saw me weighing 190 pounds like I weigh now in that scene, and you know that this is about a guy with stage 4 HIV, you're not in the movie. You're never in the movie. You're out. You're like, oh, no way. No way. I mean, come on. You didn't even do what you need to do to physically look the part. So there's physical, but there's also how you walk. You know, a little thing will come. A whiteboard Rick. A little thing like this will say so much about a character, and it can be a blanket over an entire performance. Whiteboard Rick, this lady I was working with when I was rehearsing, and Whiteboard Rick, talk about Rick Worshey, the guy I was playing. I was sitting talking. She goes, you know what? He's a hands in his front pockets kind of guy, isn't he? And I went, he is. What does that say about a guy who's always standing around going, well, you see where my shoulders went? They're leaning forward. I'm not that confident. I'm kind of don't really trust myself. I'm not real confident to talk to you and looking straight. Kind of hands in pocket. I've been beaten down by the world. Kind of receding a little bit. I'm not. I've lost more battles than I've won. It starts to carry that. All of a sudden, that tells what a walk is, what false confidence is. When he has bravado, how long can he hold the stage before he gets his hands back in his pocket and kind of goes back in his shell? The story starts to write itself. Just as in, I talk about launchpad lines in scripts. Wolf of Wall Street. In the script of that scene, the character I played, my guy tells Jordan Belfort's guy, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, tells him that the secret to stockbrokering is cocaine and hookers. And I read that, I'm like, who is that guy? Now, what if that guy believes that? What if that guy's not trying to be cute and funny and trying to get the laugh or trying to be outrageous? What if he's like, no, did you hear me? Cocaine and hookers. That's how this game works. If the guy believes that, now, there's a book written on that guy. That guy, the way he sees the world, what he's doing, I know what his apartment looks like. I know who's in his apartment. I know if he's married or not. I know what he's having for lunch, how many lunches he skipped. I know how much money he's got. I mean, I know where he's going after work. I know where he's having lunch. I know all kinds of things. If you go, what if you take that line, if this character takes that line literally? And that starts to turn into how you walk, how you talk, how you move, where you sit back, where you come forward. Yeah, so it informs all those things.
Wow, that's fantastic. And True Detective. Oh, by the way, I got here just for the people that are wondering, that was you. And by the way, it's interesting also. 25 days. So it's been shooting 25 days with $4.9 million. So, and I was thinking was like you had, 1 year shooting, and in my mind it was a completely different movie.
5 months over 5 months preparing, but 5 months, I gave myself 5 months to lose the weight. And then we were supposed to have over $7 million to shoot that movie. Jean-Marc Vallée, the director, calls me 8 days before shooting and goes, Matthew, We do not have the $7 million. We only have the just below 5. It's a $4.9 million. I don't know how I'm going to shoot this movie, but if you will show up, I will be there too. And I was like, bam, showed up. In that 8 days, he got rid of the grip department. There was not one light on set because that's where he made his budget cut. No lights, one camera, natural light. That's all we got. Let's go shoot. And we went and shot it in 25 days. And yeah, it turned out to be a really good movie, you know, a great story, well told. Yeah. So yeah, we made that one happen. We didn't flinch to make that one happen.
Yeah. I two things that I missed in the book that I'm waiting for the second one or for the trilogy. In my head, you'll write a trilogy, so I'm ready to tell me when you're ready with the second one. But one is True Detective, because to give you an idea, the other day I spoke with a friend of mine and I said, "Oh, who are you interviewing next?" And I said, "Oh, Matthew McConaughey." And he said this phrase. He said, "Look, can you please tell him that if he just do True Detective again, I would be the happiest man in the world. But is enough if he just redo what he already did. So I don't need a new one. Just redo whatever you did." So it was Rust. It's a fantastic character, and I wonder how long did it take to do that monologue. And by the way, the way you moved the hands on the table. I don't know. There are some little details that caught my attention. And I found that monologue incredible. To me, it's one of the best ever in the history of movies. And preparation there, behind the scenes, I would have really loved to read some.
So there's this monologue where Rustin Cole's getting interrogated. And I knew when I got the scripts that I said, oh boy, that's a lot of dialogue. There's great big philosophies that Rustin goes into. And so I pulled those aside when I got all the original script, pulled those aside and was like, so I had the script of the whole, of the episode we'd shoot, that I would study for my month's work. Each one took about a month. It took about 6 months to shoot the whole thing. And I had that, but then I always had those monologues on the side. And every night I'd go look at them and I'd read them. I laminated them. I'd take them in the shower with me. I'd go for a run. I'd come back, endorphin stream, and read them. I'd pull them out at Saturday night when I was half drunk and read them. I'd read them after church when I was feeling forgiving and holy. I'd read them. I looked at them all the time, every day, carried them with me, just all because I knew they were big and I needed to understand what they were. We get to that day and we have, I think, 4 days. I think it was 28 pages. I think we have 3 or 4 days scheduled.
28 pages of monologue.
Yeah. We get to that day. First day, we shoot the interrogators, right? So I'm on this side of the camera, not on camera, warming up a little bit, you know? And I've got my pages there in case I get off, I'm there. What I did, though, the next day we go to shoot mine. What I had done is all of Rustin's philosophies. There were 7 pods. There were 7 major philosophies that he went into. I deconstructed them down into each philosophy would have like 6 words. And each word would send me off on a theory. So I wrote the word down here so I could, right before we get to it, I'd look at the word and that would be 5 minutes to talk. Look down, check out the word, 5 minutes to talk. We shot for 16 hours straight. And we had almost all of it done. We had like 4 pages to go. And the crew was tired. And everyone was like, all right, it's late. Can we? And I just said, without looking up, I stayed in Rustin Cole's and I said, fuck no, we ain't going nowhere. We're sitting right here till we finish this scene. Can we do that, everybody for me? Everybody with me? Yes. And they all went, yes, sir. Rustin Cole's said, thank you. Let's roll. And we knocked it out. 18 hours.
Incredible. That's really incredible. But I watched your video where you talk about how oh shit, my English is so bad. After 8 years, I can't speak Italian anymore, and I can't speak English. No, it's crazy. I've lost any language. No, the.
Eight hours. You said you saw. So I'm coming off. I just said the monologue, 28 pages. We did it in 18 hours. You said I saw your video.
Yeah, you did this video on your YouTube channel last week, where you talk about memorizing and how a big mistake is think about how do you memorize, and you are talking about understanding. What I don't understand is, okay, you entering the character and you know it, you breathe, you have all the angles, you know his story, you are the character. But then maybe the director wants you to tell exactly those words or those lines, like, I'll be back. I don't know. And so you have to remember also all the phrases and the words. And I don't understand how is that possible to combine everything together. Or you say, no, I just go my monologue as I feel it, and that's it.
Well, True Detective in particular, Nick Pizzolatto wrote great dialogue. The monologues were great. I didn't change. I maybe changed 3 lines in that whole performance. I think I changed the line where I said, someone called me a pessimist, but I consider myself a realist. I added the realist part just to trump going, no, Rustin Cole doesn't even think he's a pessimist, doesn't even think he's cynical. He's actually saying, no, this is the straight dope, how life works. And then I added a line with me and Woody are at the evangelizing thing, and I said, look at them all racing to the red light. That's from a James McMurtry country tune. And I was like, look at all these people. Rustin Cole would see believers, people that are praising God to get to heaven, that he, as a non-believer, he said, look at them, they're all racing to the red light. They think they're going somewhere after this life. And it was a lyrical way. But I couldn't be too lyrical with Rustin Cole. And mind you, what Nick Pizzolatto wrote, was on fire. My job was I just kept trying to understand and would go to Nick and go, tell me the base meaning of this. He'd explain it, or he'd hand me a book of where it came from, where he was inspired from. So it was understanding what the text that he wrote down was. I didn't improvise a lot in that, in those monologues. That's pretty much what was written.
Got it.
And my job is to make it look like I'm improvising, make it look like I'm not reading lines. You know what I mean?
How do you handle the fact that maybe you have a performance on a set and you think, wow, this is incredible, and then maybe the director decide not to use that performance because maybe it's not good for the movie, so you don't have the final control, I guess. Maybe now you have because you're Matthew McConaughey.
No, it's the director's movie. It's the director's movie. Let me tell you a little trick I learned about 14 years ago that I practiced, because it's true. There are great performances out there that none of us have ever seen because they didn't make that movie, or they were great performances in a movie that the story didn't hold up. So nobody saw the movie because the movie didn't work. Man, that actor or actress really did a great job, but we're never going to see the light of day. So a lot of things have to work to have a great performance. Scene has to be in a good movie as well. So what I will do is, after about a week into working, and I'm getting in a relationship, whatever, with my director, and I'm feeling like I'm really into my man, and I know what's true and what's not. And I can feel it now. When I make a performance, I can, like, right after doing it, I can look up to the director and go, and like, meaning that was it. I nailed it. I can feel it. What I'll do though is, say we do 8 takes. Okay, we got that scene. I go to the director. I go, Monty, let's watch all 8 of those takes on the monitor. I'm going to secretly write after this what I think the best takes were, and you write it. I don't want to see what you write. You don't see what I write. And after we watch 8 takes, let's swap papers and see if we're meeting the minds of what we deem excellent and true. And for instance, Pre-Stated Jones, I write first half of take 4, second half of take 6. Gary Ross, the director, hands me his piece of paper. I look at his, His says first half, take 4, second half, take 6. Well, now I'm like, come on, buddy, we're in. We're seeing the truth the same way. I trust you, whatever you say, you trust me. We both have the same measure of excellence and truth. Now let's fly. So I try to get on that same page where me and the director, because I'm in their movie. It's their movie. I'm in charge of my man. And I don't want to, I've seen people give great performances and write themselves right out of the damn script. You better know that you're still under the captain of the ship. The director is the one sailing it. So I want to be in simpatico, even if I'm the lead carrying the ball. I want to be in simpatico with the movie they're telling. And then other times, competent directors may have an idea, but then see something else happening and go, that's not how I saw it. But boy, that's alive. That's true. Hang on a minute. Keep doing what you're doing there. And they'll lean into that and follow that. You know,
Matthew, when you decided to quit with your rom-com career, let's say, and you had the famous 14.5 mil offer, and you stayed 20 months without getting calls to unbrand yourself and so on. My curiosity was, did you prepare during those 20 months? Because when you were doing the rom-com, I like the rom-com. I mean, by the way, I like Wedding Planner with J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez. I mean, nice movies, but you were a different kind of actor, like different, technically different. And then after 20 months with all the new movies, you started to be on a different level, on a different, I don't know. I think your acting quality started to increase, or maybe you were already like that. Did you practice during those 20 months, or it was just, stay on the couch and thinking?
No, I didn't practice. I was just dealing with starvation of not getting no work. I was dealing with sense of non-significance because I didn't have work. I was dealing with possible regret because did I just write a one-way ticket out of fucking Hollywood? Am I ever going to go back? Did I just play my bluff and get called on it? And then that turned into, over time, after about a year, I started to get a little honor with that. Like, oh yeah, okay. Again, I started to get into that. I don't need it. Maybe I'm going to do something else with my life. Maybe I'll be a teacher. Maybe I'll be a wilderness guide. Maybe I'll be an orchestral conductor. Yeah. And we had a family crisis come up. One of those family crises that even if I was on set doing my favorite movie of all time, it was one of those ones where you drop everything and go, I'm out of here, gang. I'll be back when it's done. I don't know when it's going to be done. I had to go handle it. Those things sober a man up. And talk about my need for Hollywood. It was now like in fourth place. Not only did I have family, but I had a family crisis. Plus, I was already considering other occupations for my future.
Right.
Really didn't need it. And I had a hunch that there was something in store for me greater coming up, truer coming up. And as life does, as soon as I had forgotten about Hollywood, because I figured they'd forgotten about me and I didn't give a damn, ring, guess who's a new good idea for the kind of movies I wanted to do? And I went, here we go. Everyone out of the way. Fuck the bucks. I'm going for the experience. Let's rock. And my wife was behind me too. She was like, I remember I tell that story. I wanted to do 2 in a row and I needed preparation, but I wanted to do this third movie. And I was like, I don't think I can do the third one. There's not enough time. She goes, do you want to do it? I said, yeah. She goes, well, why don't you reach down and grab your pair and let's go do it. Whoa, let's go. And we hit the road. Family came with, and man, we didn't look back.
How do you deal, curiosity of your personal work-life balance, how do you deal with the experiences that you want to do with Camilla and the kids? If you say, I want to go for a cheeseburger tonight, let's go, guys. But if you go, I mean, cameras are there, paparazzi are there, and the fans are there, and every 2 seconds someone will ask you for a selfie. So if you pay attention to the fans, you don't spend time with the kids. And the other way around. What are your guidelines there to have your experience, your life, but without being rude with the fans?
I very seldom, out of pride, don't go do something that me or my family want to do because it may be inconvenient because I'm a celebrity. Very seldom do I have a little pride going like, no, who's wagging who, man? I'm a mammal. I'm a citizen. I'm a man. I'm a father. I'm a husband. Before I was a celebrity, I'm going to go do what I'm going to do. I'm a free man, you know? So I do have a little bit of an edge on that. I've learned over the years some tricks. One, talk about when you you go and see me in the first scene of a movie. If you go, oh, I'm in, it's how you walk in. Now, if I'm walking in and I'm at the very beginning of walking in a restaurant, stopping to pause, to glad hand and sign and talk, that lets the entire rest of the restaurant know that I'm available.
I see.
Then they all come up. But if I run up and the first thing I do, if I'm going out with my family, someone comes up, oh my gosh, can you sign this? You take a picture? I'll go, no, think I'm eating with my family right now, but I put my hand out and go, nice to meet you though. When the other people see that, oh, that person had a camera and a piece of paper wanted him to sign, but he didn't sign, he did stop though and shake their hand. Oh, okay. Or someone comes up to the table, you know what, we're eating right now. Can I say howdy afterwards? Sure. I just try to remind people of why were you here before I got here? You were here to eat a dinner. That's what I'm here for. And then I understand after that, on the way out, I'll give some time to say hi, what have you. You know, shake some hands and maybe take a picture or two, but I'm not going to go out and let that be. So I've learned to sort of, it's also if you catch people's eyes, you know what I mean? When I'm eating, you can tell I'm over there with my family eating. And if you come over, here's a good trick. Someone comes to the table while we're eating, stand up.
All right.
It makes the person go, oh my God, because everyone looks to the person who stands up in the middle of the restaurant, right? So it makes the restaurant look over to the person who just stood up, which then makes the person who's coming over to interrupt a little self-conscious.
I love it. I'll use it because if I go to Italy, I mean, I'm like from 0 to 10, I'm 5, okay? So I can live my life in Italy. But, you know, sometimes someone will stop me and I don't know how to deal it, you know, with my wife or thing. You know, sometimes I feel rude on one side, on the other. I will use your strategies. Matthew, I was curious about your opinion about Hollywood and the new movie industry scenario. I watched the Oscar ceremony the other night, and I saw that Netflix, I think, won, I don't know, 6 Oscars or something like that. Then I saw that Amazon invested like $10 billion in Amazon Prime Video and also music included. And I wonder if now these mega big tech platforms are considered and perceived at the same level of authority as Hollywood, or if you shoot a movie for like a Netflix original, is perceived as a lower level than, you know, if I do, right, I don't know, The Avengers. I don't know that.
Yeah. Good question. Look, that perception's rapidly changing because it was that way before. Let's go all the way back to True Detective. Woody and I, in a position we were in, coming to TV to do a TV series was still like, whoa.
Yeah, that was a big screen. Yeah, you're right.
And actually, the success of that helped open the floodgates for what has been happening since, is that go to find your greatest dramas on these series on TV. So the taboo's gone. It was kind of gone before Woody and I did True Detective, but it wasn't completely gone. Now it's gone. As far as status, preciousness of a studio film versus Netflix, those lines are like, my sense is that those lines have overlapped now. My challenge with the Netflix and the series is that I've gone through before and looked through, you know, look, what are all their movies? And I see all these actors and directors. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know that was out. When did that come out? I didn't even know they did that. And it doesn't necessarily feel like as much of a special event now when it's just thrown into the library in the lineup.
Yeah.
Just find it. Which one do you want to do? So they're a little less precious. They feel that way. But, you know, once again, my argument would be, I mean, it's going to go where the money goes, like most things. But number two, and this was my answer when I got asked, why would you go do HBO series with True Detective? I said, I'm chasing character and story, and I don't give a damn what screen it's on. This character, Rustin Cole, I can't wait to turn the page to see what comes out of his mouth next. Now, should I not do that character that turns me on so much because it's on a small screen? I was like, forget that. I don't give a damn what screen it is. I was chasing story and character. But then I understand people like Christopher Nolan who are like fighting for cinema and not gonna let their their work be exported on the small screen at the same time as it comes out on the big screen. There's no exclusivity. There's less exclusivity to it now, and it's going to be hard to hang on to it.
I see. Matthew, we have 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
What's next? I mean, I'm waiting for the second book. If you don't write the second book, I call Camilla because
Camilla, she'll give me. Okay,
so
I'd love
you have to write it now. Go back to the desert and come out with the second book. But what's next? Because I mean, politics or movies. What?
I don't know. I don't have any movies lined up. I'm really working on. Hey, Matthew, who are you gonna be in this next chapter of your life in the big show? I'm talking about the big show of life where action was called once when we were born and cut will be called once the day we die. Who am I like? What kind of father am I? Again, those non-negotiables I talked about, my family, my kids. Who am I going to be? Is it a leadership position? I'm working on what is best version of me going forward. Will that include telling stories on the screen? I hope so. Probably will. But I really want to, I'm enjoying this investigation I'm on now, trying to say, and I loved the writing. I loved writing. The hardest part about writing was stopping and coming back and re-engaging with society. And I'm not a reclusive guy, but I really ended up enjoying it. I was writing 17 hours a day and didn't want it to be over. So I continue to write. I hope I have another book in me. I know I do. I hope I take the time to find it, which I believe I will. And then what's going to be my means of communication? What's a fun idea? One idea is this whole book tour that I was doing with the Green Lights was going to be in person. I was going to travel the world and go on stage and do a stand-up and storytelling and engage back and forth with stories and have a 2-hour sort of show to promote the book. That idea is still fun. Not that it would be for Green Lights, but could it be for something else?
That would be fantastic. Matthew, thank you so much. It was such a huge pleasure and a real honor to talk with you. And I hope to meet you soon in Brighton or in Italy. I'm waiting for you.
See you, Monty. Thanks, sir.
All right. Bye.